Hey guys, T-minus today, Dave here. I wanted to apologize first and foremost for the stuff in the background. Well, my background's never that great anyway, but there's a little noise in the background. My AC's been out for the last 20 days. I'm living in Central Texas. It's in the summer. My house gets up to 97 degrees in the afternoon. It gets hot. I've got a little AC unit here, but it doesn't really cut it. It cuts it by about 10 to 12 degrees, but there's a little noise in the background. Apologize for that. I wanted to talk about the new GPUs that came out. The RTX 3000 series. Yes, we are here. It's a really cool series, and let's just dive right into it. The first thing I want to talk about is the RTX 3070. Starting at $499 with a traditional cooler, it is supposed to be, according to NVIDIA, faster than the 2080 Ti, NVIDIA's $1,200 graphics card. People were buying those for $1,350 and $1,400. They were extremely expensive. And now we're getting faster performance, according to NVIDIA, than the 2080 Ti with the 3070? Seriously? It only has 8 gigabytes of GDDR6 RAMs, not GDDR6X or anything, so it has, I don't remember what the speed is. We'll go look that up. Okay, here we go. Here's the 3070 GPU engine specs. CUDA cores 5,888 CUDA cores, 1.73 gigahertz boost clock. Memory config of 8 gigs, GDDR6, a 256-bit bus. So what does that mean? It's probably a pretty beefy card. At 220 watts. So this is like an 8-pin and a 6-pin maybe? Pretty cool. There's a bunch of pictures. Check it out. That's the 3080. The 3070 did not look like that. But they've got some pretty stuff. Yay. One of the questions that I wanted to answer was here. The 3070, they say that it's faster than the 2080 Ti. We mentioned this before. And I want to go over here to this little thread here on video cards. They have some good roundup stuff. There was a thread over here done by NVIDIA, the 30 series launch. There was a Q&A, and they kind of compiled it over here at videocards.com, and they answered some questions on Reddit. From an HDMI perspective, the 2.1 specs, does it support HDMI 2.1 with full 48 gigabits per second bandwidth? The answer is yes. It has 12 gigabits per second a lane, and it has 4 lanes, so it will support 8K 60 hertz in HDR. For SSD performance, so there's this thing called RTX IO, and what it is like RDMA. Now, RDMA is remote direct memory access, and what that allows you to do is when you're transferring data, instead of hitting those CPUs very hard, when you're transferring data, you can go from like a memory to memory and kind of skip over the processor, or the processor utilization stays very, very low. So that's what RTX IO does. So it says here that RTX allows reading data from SSDs at a much higher speed than traditional methods, and allows the data to be stored and read into the compressed format by the GPU. Great. So, and it talks about much less CPU overhead. So it's almost like you're skipping over the CPU. So the CPU could be a bottleneck in this case, but because it's using RTX IO, or I feel like it's kind of like RDMA, it's just not going to use a whole lot of CPU to get there. So if you have a really fast Gen 4 PCI Express SSD, you could be copying data to your GPU very quickly. And there were a bunch of questions about that. You can come and read this. It's on videocards.com. Further details on GeForce RTX 30 series. Blah, 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 blah. TLDR Doto asked this about the GeForce RTX 3070. He asked, please clarify if the slide saying RTX 3070 is equal or faster than the 2080 Ti. Is it referring to traditional rasterization or DLSS RT workloads? Initially, I thought this was just for DLSS or RT workloads. There's no way it's going to be faster in rasterization than the 2080 Ti. But the answer we got was a little bit different. Justin said we're talking about both. Games that only support traditional rasterization and games that support RTX, which is RT and DLSS. That was his answer. You can see this in our launch article here. So Justin is claiming that the 3070 non-Ti is faster than the 2080 Ti in both rasterization or traditional workloads, so games that we're running that don't support DLSS or ray tracing. It'll be as fast as a 2080 Ti for $500. If that is true, that is incredible. The RTX 3080 comes out on the 17th of September, 14 days from now. The RTX 3070 comes out in October. If that's true, these graphics cards are going to be a very, very good deal in comparison to the 20 series. They're already going to be a good deal in comparison to the 20 series. But people who are running like a 1080 or a 1080 Ti, I don't feel like they've felt a need to upgrade at this point. But if you see the 3070 performing like that, if it really does outperform the 2080 Ti, and then the 3080 does even better, and then the 3090, the $1,500 card, that's not really a gaming card, that's pretty impressive, and it might push people to upgrade from their Pascal cards. So there's two things you can be excited about here. One, if you're looking to buy $500 and up, go for the RTX 3070 or 3080. Definitely wait for benchmarks to come out. You know, tons of people do a lot of external testing. Make sure they validate and back up those claims. They may not be true in every scenario. In fact, my gut is kind of saying that the RTX 3070 is not going to be faster than the 2080 in most of the rasterization workloads, of the traditional workloads. It only has 8 gigs of RAM. The 2080 Ti has 11 gigs of RAM, doesn't it? So let's just wait and see. But things are very interesting at this point. 3090, a lot of CUDA cores, 350 watts TDP with a 384-bit bus, 24 gigs of G6X memory for $1,500. Very expensive. The 3080, something that most enthusiasts might be able to obtain. 320-bit bus, slower bandwidth, less CUDA cores, blah, blah, blah. 10 gigs of G6X RAM and 320 watts for $699. This is very reminiscent to the 900 series cards that came out. The GTX 970 when it came out was an amazing card. It was a value card, and I feel like the RTX 3080 and 3070 are kind of pulling that value card again. Value. It depends if you're shopping in that price bracket or not. If you're not, that's fine. 8 gigs of G6 or GDDR6 memory, 14 gigabits per second. Yeah, isn't the 2080 Ti 16? Oh, okay. So Founders Edition, 2080 Ti, 11 gigabits, GDDR6, 11 gig, 14. So what we learned here is that it's kind of slow. So the 3070, that's on par with the 2080 Ti with speed. 256-bit memory bus. Bandwidth is much lower as well. Look at that bandwidth difference between the 3080 and the 3070. It's a pretty big difference. And the power envelope is much higher on the 3080. Let's go to eBay and search for the 2080 Ti. Are people freaking out? Like, are these going to be going for $500? Because if they're not going for $500, they need to be selling for less than $500 to even be relevant. All of these are obsolete. It's all obsolete. What about just a standard 2080? I'm just wondering if people are dumping their video cards. $1,000 or best offer for the 2080 Ti. It's only worth $500 now, according to NVIDIA. I was going to say maybe the used market's like super great, but might just have to wait for the 3000 series cards, the more budget 3000 series cards. I generally like to stay under $200 for any one piece. So $200 for my CPU, $200 for my graphics card, and then less for all my other components. This is a really cool launch. I honestly did not think that the 3000 series would be as good a value as it seems to be. Again, we need to wait for third-party benchmarks, but it looks promising. NVIDIA has stated that the 3070 is as fast in both traditional workloads, rasterization workloads, and the new workloads. Wow. That's a bold statement. So that means the 2080 Ti performance that used to be $1,200 or $1,300 is now $500. Everything else has got to come down as well. There's a lot of really interesting things going on. I honestly don't think you can go wrong with purchasing the 3070 if it holds up to its claims. That's a great price for a graphics card if you're willing to spend $500 for a graphics card. If not, that's fine. Just wait and they'll come out with other lower SKUs and we'll kind of go from there. And that's where I'm at. You know, I'm not going to buy a $500 graphics card. I'm not going to buy a $700 graphics card or a $1,500 graphics card. No way. I might buy a $200 or $250 graphics card if it seems worth it to me. And maybe I'll play the game a little bit and see if I can sell my 970 and get $60 out of it or whatever. You know, I try not to sell them for a whole lot of money. I just dump them. I think it's super annoying. This is a tangent, but I think it's super annoying when people sell their old pieces of hardware for a lot of money when they're really, in my opinion, they're not worth that much. Like I sold 16 gigs worth of memory, the 8350 AMD CPU, and my motherboard, plus like a bunch of other stuff for like $99 because I didn't feel like it was worth a whole lot. The 8350 was a terrible CPU. It was really bad, but it was worth something. $100, you know, that was back when memory was $100 just by itself. So it was good. It was a good value for someone else. And same thing with my GTX 970. I'll either give it away to somebody or give it to them for $50 or $60. You know, that'll be a really good value piece. And then I'll go and purchase one of the lower tiered graphics cards, maybe one for like $199 to around $250. So the 30 series or the 3000 series launch, 3070, 3080, 3090, pretty cool. 3070, $499, 3080, $699. Those are all for the Founders Edition. There's also going to be AIB partners that are going to be coming out with bigger and beefier coolers that might be really awesome as well. And then there's the 3090. We didn't really talk about the 3090. That's literally a Titan card. You're not going to buy that for gaming. Don't worry about it. Are they going to come out with the 3080 Ti or 3080 Super? Probably. There's a huge gap in between that $699 and $1,500 price point. In the comments, let me know what you think. This is a cool new architecture, and we're on a new node. It's Samsung's 8 nanometer nodes. So we've had a die shrink. This is all really, really, really exciting stuff. The 20 series was not the series to get into graphics cards. The 10 series was pretty good. I thought the 900 series was really amazing. The 1080 Ti was a really cool graphics card. It was super expensive, but it was really cool. And it was really fast for its time. And then the 2000 series just did not even hold a candle to it. But this is actually really exciting. The 3000 series, I will say, if you've been waiting to purchase a graphics card, I think the 3000 series really makes a good argument for that. And there are a whole lot of really cool features that I liked. Like there's that direct I/O where you're going from your PCI Express to your GPU, you know. That's pretty cool. I also like there's like the broadcaster software where it has, you know, hides your background noise. If I had that, I could hide this background noise. It'd be pretty sweet. That's going to be coming out very soon. And then we also have the virtual background where you could put up virtual backgrounds without a green screen. You'll know when I get that because I'll probably be using it. So I'll have to get a new graphics card. But that's very tempting to me to actually go purchase a new RTX 3000 series just so I can have features like that. So it's not just about the performance. Some of the features that they're coming out with are really cool that I actually think are really great. DLSS 2.0. We haven't even talked about DLSS 2.0. Wow. How incredible is that? I keep bumping the mic, but I'm really excited about it. DLSS 2.0 is a game changer. We're actually on DLSS 2.1 at this point, but it's a serious game changer. You can play games at 1080p and upscale those to 4K? Come on. That is incredible technology, and you don't have to pay the price for 4K. This is crazy technology that I am super excited about. We're going to have to talk about it in another video. This is getting way too long. So we need to do a video on DLSS. We need to do a video on that direct IO path thing. I'm talking about maybe RDMA or something like that. We need to do a video on just the features on the RTX 3000 series and why you would purchase them. Very cool stuff. Anyway, we'll see you next time. Like, subscribe, hit that notification button. Bye.